we have two delay models, RC, LO. Last delay model that we are going to look, and also one of the most important ones for digital design, is called as the linear delay model. Okay, this is again at the end you're going to get one number saying this is the delay for your circuit. That is true for linear delay model. But there are some other things also that is going to be slightly different. Here in the linear delay model, we are going to divide the delay into two parts. Okay, one part is called P, which is what is called as the parasitic delay. Okay, and we have seen this before, but we will just call this specifically the parasitic delay. And G into H. Okay, GH is not one term, it is product of two terms. G into H is called as the effort delay, and together the sum of these two is the total delay. This is the linear delay model. Okay, and we will see what are each of these separately. First we will start with the first term, logical effort, or G. Okay, so logical effort is a number, and what is this number? This number is going to tell us in some terms what is the cost of a gate. Okay, we have many gates, right? We have simplest is inverter, then we have two input gates, NAND gate, NOR gate, same we have three input gates, etc., and many other gates we can get also, compound gates, all those gates are there. Can we come up with a number saying what is the cost of this gate in terms of delay? Okay, meaning that if the number is low, okay, the delay is low. If the cost of some gate is high, the delay number or the logical effort of that gate also is going to be high. So that is approximately what is this logical effort is trying to tell us. What is the cost of a gate in terms of the delay? Okay, if some gate introduces lot of delay in my circuit, it is going to have high logical effort. If not much, then it is going to have low logical effort. So next question is, how do we determine? And that is where the definition also comes into the picture. Okay, it is going to be measured relative to unit inverter. That is why unit inverter is very important. Okay, we have to understand exactly what it is. 2 and 1 PMOS NMOS unit inverter. Okay, now for any other gate, okay, logical effort is going to be measured relative to unit inverter. It's not going to be absolute. I'm not going to tell you logical effort of this gate is 25.7 picoseconds. No, we are not going to talk about that. Why we are not going to say like that? Because that is today. Day after tomorrow, if you go to another technology, then that number is invalid. It's a useless number. So we will not talk about any technology dependent numbers. We are going to be independent. That is why we look at the unit inverter. Is unit inverter in all technologies. Today if I'm 2 and 1, after 25 years also I can still be at 2 and 1, right? Because those are only in terms of lambda. So these numbers can be reused again and again without any change in the calculation. So that is why we are doing everything related to unit inverter. Now we look at a gate. Okay, and unit inverter in some ways is one of the simplest gates, and that is why we are going to keep its logical effort. Okay, and everything measured relative to that. And how do we do that? For that we look at the actual definition. Logical effort of a gate is defined as the ratio. So it is going to be a ratio, means it is going to have a numerator and a denominator. So for every gate it is going to be a ratio. What is it a ratio of? Okay, it is the input capacitance of the gate. So in the numerator, okay, I'm going to put the input capacitance of my gate. My gate can be anything. It can be NAND gate, it can be NOR gate, it can be any other gate. Okay, and I am going to calculate. I have the gate. Somebody will give you a gate, means they will give you the connections. Okay, how many PMOS, how many NMOS. Plus, as you know, from now on we are going to have size. Nobody will give you just a gate and say take this 2 input NAND gate. They will also give you the sizes of the individual transistors. So once they give you the gate, you can visually see, okay, so the input is connected to two PMOS transistors and two NMOS transistors. What is the input capacitance? Just the sum. The gate capacitance is what we are talking about here. Just the sum of all those capacitances. So two PMOS means it might be something like 4 plus 4. 2 NMOS means it might be something like 2. So 4 plus 4 plus 2 is total of 10C. That is the input capacitance of my gate. That is the numerator of my ratio. Not just that, okay? We said it is relative to inverter, okay? And for that, input capacitance of a inverter, again, note not just unit inverter, because then it will be a constant number. Any gate you take, it will be unit inverter is 3C. It is not the unit inverter, it is relative to a equally sized inverter. That is what we have to remember. Meaning, if some NMOS PMOS transistors are there, we have to convert them into a equivalent inverter. That is what it says here, similarly sized inverter, and the ratio of that is the logical effort. And this is a ratio. We already saw what is in the numerator. Denominator, take your gate, whatever gate it is, NAND gate, NOR gate, convert it into equivalent inverter. What is the meaning of convert? Convert means you have to convert all the pull-up network transistors into one single equivalent PMOS transistor, not just size 2. Okay, it might not be size 2, it could be anything. That is what you have to find out. And then do the same for the NMOS transistor. Then that is the input capacitance of the equivalent inverter. The ratio of the two, 10C divided by, you might get something like, again you might get 8C. So your logical effort of the gate is 10C by 8C or 10 by 8. Okay, so we will try some examples. It will become easier. That, let us take the first one. Two input NAND gate sized with delays similar to unit inverter. Okay, so two input NAND gate, and for this I want to find out what is the logical effort. So let us first draw a two input NAND gate, and then we will calculate the logical effort. Okay, and it says in the question, but it might not say every time, sized similar to unit inverter. So once we have that statement, then we can put the sizes for each of these transistors also. Okay, sometimes the size might be given, then in that case your work is easier. But if the size is not given, we can assume always that equivalent to unit inverter. So we can put the sizes 2, 2 and 2, 2. And what is the equivalent inverter? That is always what we have to do when we calculate logical effort. For any gate, find out which is the equivalent inverter, and then we can do that ratio. Okay, so first we will get the equivalent inverter. In this case, it's going to be very easy. Why it's very easy? Because the original gate was sized similar to equivalent inverter, which means automatically it's going to be a unit inverter. And this is the gate for which we want to calculate logical effort. This is the gate which is the equivalent inverter, this gate. So then we can calculate the logical effort. Therefore, logical effort of this two input NAND gate is, what is the definition? Input capacitance of my gate. Input capacitance, your input is connected to one PMOS transistor, one NMOS transistor. So we have to take both into the picture. That is 2 plus 2 is 4C divided by, it's a ratio. Okay, input capacitance of my gate to input capacitance of equivalent inverter. In this case, equivalent inverter is this, and the input capacitance of this is 2 plus 1 is 3C. So is equal to 4 by 3. This is the logical effort of this two input NAND gate. Next, we will try the same for two input NOR gate. Okay. So we don't have to erase everything. We'll just erase the gate because the gate is still equivalent to unit inverter. So unit inverter can stay. We just have to redraw our gate. Okay, so we will do that. We'll draw a two input NOR gate this time. Okay, and now sizes 2, 1, and here start with the bottom 1, 1. If you remember, this was 4 and 4. So now we have to rewrite this state. Logical effort of this two input NOR gate is, okay, the numerator is not 4C. How much is the numerator? Inputs I have shown connected to one PMOS, one NMOS. Sum of both is 4 plus 1, 5C. Okay, divided by same 3C, that's okay. So we will get 5 by 3. Logical effort 2 into, sorry, it's not a NOT gate, it's a NOR gate. NOR gate is 5 by 3. And this is the some ways a measure of the cost. So if you compare both gates, two input NAND gate and two input NOR gate, I have 4 by 3 for the NAND gate, 5 by 3 for the NOR gate. So in some ways NAND gate is cheaper. That is something that we can conclude. Now these are exercises. I will just do one example, then you can do the rest. And one thing that you notice in this statement is it doesn't say anything about the sizing. So we are going to assume that whatever gate we create by default, it is equivalent to unit inverter. Okay, this part we will remove. So let's say we want to do a 4 input NAND gate. Okay, so draw the gate. It's going to take a few minutes. Okay, so you can be calculating the sizes of the transistors that I have to put, and once we have that, then we will have all the details that are required. We can calculate the logical effort. Again, equivalent inverter is unit inverter, so that part is fixed 2 1. So we want this to be equivalent, so we will go in the reverse direction. We will go from these sizes to these sizes, so parallel all of them, so easy to do that. 2 2 2 2. Okay, now here 4 transistors Together it should equal one single NMOS transistor of size 1 or resistance R, which means each transistor should have R by 4, or equivalently the W by L, if I put 4, I will get a resistance of R by 4. So 4, 4, 4, 4. Now we have our gate, which is a 4 input NAND gate, and the equivalent inverter is the unit inverter. Therefore, coming back to this statement, therefore the logical effort of this 4 input AND gate is the numerator is 1 PMOS plus 1 NMOS, total of 4 plus 2 is 6C, divided by, stays the same, 3C, or it is 6 by 3. And one more thing that we can notice here, 2 input was 4 by 3, 3 input we didn't calculate, but if you calculate you should get 5 by 3 for a NAND gate. 4 input is 6 by 3. So as the number of inputs keep getting more and more, the logical effort gets more and more. What is the meaning of that? The gate is more expensive, or it is going to have more delays. So if you look at standard cell libraries, for example, many times in some very low code somewhere, somebody might write 10 terms ANDed together, but it will never have a 10 input AND gate because it is cheaper to implement that function in terms of many, okay, many more gates, but 2 inputs or 3 input, at most 4 input. And the reason is the gates, as we go higher and higher with the number of inputs, the cost of that gate becomes more. So even though the area might be compact, the delay will be much higher. So that is what we see here also, the same trend. 4 by 3, 2 input, 5 by 3, 3 input, 4 input is 6 by 3. And you should see the same for a NOR gate. So we will not do it, but you can do it yourself and verify 3 input and 4 input NOR gates. Calculate the logical effort. So I think you can calculate these yourself and check in the book. The book has a table with all the this thing, so we can also verify what you have done. Okay, this is the first component. So let's go back for a second to this logical effort term. So if I want to calculate this linear delay model, there are three terms in the equation. We have now calculated the G part, there is the H part and the P part. So we will first calculate this parasitic delay. This is simpler. Parasitic delay is due to the diffusion capacitances. Okay, and as we saw in the linear delay model and the Elmore delay model also, there also we were calculating diffusion capacitance. We were putting it as part of the output capacitance or the load capacitance. Here we are going to separate it. Okay, so if you notice by now, the logical effort part is somewhat in some ways related to the gate capacitance. So how do we account for the diffusion capacitance of the driver? That we have another term in the linear delay model which is called as the parasitic delay. And again, this is also a ratio, okay, very similar to the previous case. It is a ratio of two capacitances, and instead of input capacitance which we're doing for logical effort, here we just have to calculate what is the delay of the gate when it is driving no load, meaning if you just add all the diffusion capacitances at the output node, what is the total capacitance? That is the numerator, and denominator is nothing but equivalent inverters diffusion capacitance. Ratio of those two is the parasitic delay. It is very simple. Let us again do it for some gates. So let's take a 2 input NAND and a 3 input NOR gate, for example. Okay, so we'll erase the so let's redraw a 2 input NAND gate. put the sizes, always be the sizes. So we can put any sizes. Okay, let me try something little different. Let me put some sizes. Instead of this unit inverter size, I will put some other sizes this time. Okay, I will put some other sizes. What is the rule that I follow? The only rule that I follow, early on we said it, the propagation delay should be the same for the rising and falling transition. So I'm not always going to put, generally what do we put? We put 2, 2, 2, 2. If sequence. I can do a different one. I can put any number. Okay, so let's say I put 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. So if you calculate the equivalent resistance for the pull up and pull down network, will be the same. Here it will be 6, which is, sorry, not 6. Here it will be how much? What is the resistance of this particular transistor? Unit resistance is 2R divided by 6. So R by 3. Here I will get R by 6 for this plus R by 6. So R by 3. And this is a valid gate. Now if I want to calculate what is the parasitic delay, so let me just do one exercise. Hold on one second. Let us calculate the logical effort of this gate. Okay, before we were doing something simple, we just had some equivalent inverter which we started off with. We went in the reverse direction. Now we want to calculate what is the logical effort of this gate. So let me remove this statement. Okay, the logical effort of this two input NAND gate equal to numerator. I can calculate. I have my gate, right? I have 6C in the PMOS, 6C in the NMOS, so it is 12C divided by equivalent capacitance, input capacitance of equivalent inverter. What is the equivalent inverter? That is this one. What is the sizes? So for that we have to see 6 and 6. So parallel, worst case only one is conducting. So this is 6. Now I have 6 and 6. I want to replace both of these by one single transistor. Okay, what is the size of the transistor? Let us say I put 1. Is it the same? What is the total resistance here? R by 6 plus R by 6 is R by 3. And here the resistance is R. So clearly it's not equivalent. I have to replace it with one single transistor whose resistance is R by 3. So what should I put for W by R? I should 3. So then now it is the equivalent inverter to this two input NAND gate 6 and 3. Then I can calculate what is the logical effort. 12C divided by 6 plus 3 is 9C equal to 12 by 9 equal to 4 by 3. Now this is a very interesting result, which is why I just deviated for a second. Two input NAND gate. Okay. Again, I'm getting 4 by 3. This is not 2222 sizing. This is 6666. And this is an interesting way or interesting fact about this logical effort. It does not depend on the size of the transistor. As long as you have sized it such that rising and fall transitions are the same, okay, it is always going to be the same number. So you can take any other two input NAND gate different. You can change 6666 to 12 12 12 12. You can change it to 18 18 18 18. The logical effort is always going to be the same, because as my gate size is increasing, the equivalent inverter is also increasing. So relative to that, it stays the same, and in this case the number is going to be 4 by 3. You can try this exercise for a two input NOR gate. Okay, as long as you size it for the condition. What is the condition? Rising and falling transitions the same. The logical effort is always going to be 5 by 3, and this is important, this thing of logical effort. So we deviated for a minute. Let us just come back to parasitic delay. This is fine, we can use parasitic delay for this only. So parasitic delay is also a ratio total capacitance of my gate when it is not driving any load. So here I have one, two, three. Three terminals are connected to the output node. So what is the total output capacitance? It is 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. So it is going to be 18C divided by, and what is the equivalent inverter's output capacitance? 6 plus 3 is 9C equal to 2. So this is the parasitic delay for this particular gate. Very simple. Just calculate the total diffusion capacitance at the output. Equivalent inverter, also calculate the diffusion capacitance at the output, and the ratio of two numbers is equal to the parasitic delay. And you can do this for an OR gate, you can do this for any other gate, and calculate the delay in the same way. And once you have those patterns, you can also try to generalize and see what is the parasitic delay of a n input NAND or NOR gate. Okay. Now finally, we have two of the three terms. We have delay is equal to P plus G into H, right? Okay, P plus G into H. This is a very interesting combination that we see here. If you see this P plus G into H, okay, so let's just um, write this part again. Okay, P plus G into H is somewhat similar to another term that we have seen before, maybe even in before second PU, MGH. Okay, so this Mg into H, if you remember, was the potential energy. Mg is the mass of the object multiplied by gravitational force. So this is one term, and it is being raised by some amount h. And if you raise it to more, then the potential energy also is more. Here also we have similar thing, that is the delay d is equal to p, which is a constant term. Okay, and g is the cost of the gate, that is my driver gate has some cost that is given by the logical effort g, and it is driving some amount of output that is given by this final term that we have to discuss, which is called as h. And h is also called as the uh, sometimes we also call it as the fan out. Okay, so that is the last term of the parasitic delay, and the calculation of h, electrical effort or fan out, is just given by the output capacitance divided by the input capacitance. That is, there will be some amount of capacitance that is connected to the output node. Okay, add only the gate capacitances. Diffusion part is already added to the parasitic delay. Add all the gate capacity, all the gates that are connected to the output node, that is the C out term here. And input capacitance, the input capacitance of your gate, whatever it is, that is Cn. And the ratio of those two is C out by Cn, also called as the electrical effort, or sometimes we also refer to it as the fan out, and that is the last term H. Okay, and together it all comes together as parasitic effort plus G into H, and here we see some curves. The x-axis is H, the y-axis is the delay D. When H equal to 0, that is when no outputs are connected, the delay D is only due to P. And as you keep increasing the H, the delay also increases. This is an inverter. Slope is 1 because P equal to G into H. This is a 3 input NAND gate. The logical effort is 5 by 3. So with every H equal to 1, equal to 2, equal to 3, the delay D increases by that much. So this is what the overall linear delay model looks like. P equal to D equal to P plus G into H, and the logical effort G, parasitic effort P, and electrical effort H. Together we have the new delay D equal to P plus G into H. Final one thing, might be interested to know what is the units, right? Delay is generally in picoseconds, but in our case we have not mentioned anything. What we have for the logical effort or the linear delay model is the delay d is in terms of something called as tau. Okay, and this tau is nothing but inverter delay, unit inverter delay. And since all our answers are in terms of inverters, we are just going to say the delay is in terms of this tau, and tau is the 3RC, unit inverter delay. And in this equation, for example, d equal to p plus gh, suppose you get some number, say 5. The answer is actually 5 tau. Okay, later on if you want to calculate the actual delay, you have decided which technology you're working on, you will get the RC delay. 3RC is tau, and you can multiply that with your d to get the actual delay in terms of picoseconds. For now, just remember that the delay d that we are calculating here is in terms of tau, which is the 3RC delay for that particular technology. So we stop here.